I always assumed betrayal came with guilt, that if someone you loved ever crossed that line, their voice would at least waver when they admitted it. But when my wife, Emma, looked me dead in the eyes and said, "Yes, I cheated, and I don't regret it," her tone was calm, almost relieved. For a moment, words failed me. The kitchen clock's ticking suddenly felt cruel, echoing the silence that followed. The smell of burnt coffee lingered in the air while she stood there, arms folded, as if she'd just finished folding laundry. I asked her to repeat it, not because I hadn't heard her, but because I couldn't believe anyone could sound that detached. She sighed, rolled her eyes, and said, "You're not surprised, are you, Mark? We haven't been happy for a long time." There was the cheater's script, the line meant to shift the blame. I tried to pinpoint when happiness slipped away. Maybe when she started coming home late. Maybe when she stopped laughing at my jokes. Or maybe when she began dressing up for someone who wasn't me. I asked who it was. She hesitated, then leaned against the counter and said, "It doesn't matter. What matters is I finally feel alive again." Alive. The word sliced through me, because while she was rediscovering her aliveness, I was patching the roof, paying the bills, planning the birthday trip she never thanked me for. I was holding our life together while she went looking for excitement. When she finally said his name, Derek, from accounting, my stomach turned. I knew him, met him once at a company barbecue. He'd complimented her dress one too many times. I'd felt something off back then, but brushed it aside. Told myself not to be insecure. Turns out, insecurity had been intuition all along. She didn't cry. She didn't apologize. She just claimed she wanted to be honest. Honest after months of lies. That night, I barely slept. The empty half of the bed didn't feel lonely, just vacant, like a space that no longer belonged to her. I stared at the ceiling until dawn, realizing how many moments I'd mistaken for love when they were just routine. By morning, something inside me had shifted. The anger was gone, burned out, leaving behind a cold kind of clarity. When she came downstairs expecting our usual silent breakfast, I was already dressed. A suitcase waited by the front door. "Going somewhere?" she asked, almost amused. "Yeah," I said. "You are." Her smirk faltered. I told her I'd called her sister. She could stay there until she figured things out. She opened her mouth to argue, but couldn't. Maybe she finally saw it. I wasn't the man who begged for her attention anymore. I was the man who'd run out of anything left to give. She called me dramatic, said I was overreacting. But betrayal doesn't need to scream to be real. It's quiet. It's final. When she realized I wasn't bluffing, tears came, real ones this time. The kind I'd wanted to see the night before. But it was too late. As she rolled her suitcase out, I didn't feel satisfaction or revenge. Just peace. The kind that comes when you finally set down a weight you carried too long. Before stepping outside, she said, "You'll regret this." I met her eyes. "I already regret forgiving you before you even asked." The door clicked shut behind her. The house fell silent in a way I hadn't heard in years. Not peaceful, but clean, like the air after storm. I stared at the half-empty mug she'd left, lipstick on the rim. I didn't throw it away right then. I left it there, a reminder of what happens when you love someone who stops respecting you. For days, I told no one. I went to work, smiled, pretended to be fine. I wasn't, but there's a strange dignity in keeping your pain private. At night, I'd scroll through old photos, vacations, birthdays, anniversaries. I looked happy in everyone. She looked perfect. And now, all I saw was the acting, the smiles, the poses, the illusions hiding the cracks. By the third day, I boxed up everything of hers. Clothes, photos, perfume. Each object carried a memory, and every memory felt like a lie. I didn't cry. I didn't rage. I just accepted. The hardest part was telling my parents. My mom's first question was, "Did you do something wrong?" Because that's how people think. If someone cheats, the other person must have failed. But I hadn't failed. I'd given everything to someone who didn't value it. 2 weeks later, Emma texted, "Can we talk?" Just 3 words. I stared at the screen for a long time. I wanted to ignore it, but Curiosity won. I told her she could come by. When she showed up, she looked different, not confident, not glowing, fragile. The kind of fragile that comes when you realize a fantasy is falling apart. She said things hadn't worked out with Derek, that he wasn't who she thought. I almost laughed. She said she missed me, missed us, that she'd made a mistake. I listened, but my heart stayed still. I remember that night, her calm voice, her unapologetic tone. This version of her wasn't sorry because she loved me. She was sorry because her new world had collapsed. I asked what she'd do differently if I took her back. She said, I'd try harder. I shook my head. You didn't forget how to love, Emma. You just stopped wanting to. And now you regret losing comfort, not me. She cried, said I'd changed. Maybe she was right. Maybe heartbreak burns away the parts of you that accept less than you deserve. Before leaving, she asked, so that's it? You're really done? Yes, I said quietly. You were done first. I'm just catching up. That day, something in me settled for good. I stopped replaying what happened. Stopped wondering what I could have done differently. The truth is, when someone betrays you without remorse, they've already practiced living without you long before you notice. I began rebuilding my life piece by piece. Started running again, reconnected with old friends, took trips alone. I learned to enjoy my own company. A month later, I ran into Derek at the grocery store. He looked wrecked, tired, unshaven, avoiding eye contact. I almost pitied him. Almost. But I just smiled and walked past. That's when I realized forgiveness doesn't mean wanting someone back. It means they no longer hold your peace hostage. The following weekend, I changed the locks, repainted the living room, and finally threw that lipstick-stained mug into the trash. Watching it disappear felt like closing a chapter. For the first time in years, I didn't feel broken. I felt free, because betrayal doesn't define you. What you do after does. And I chose to move on.